Hey everyone, this is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have Oscar Sanders on my channel. Welcome, Oscar. How are you?
Thank you, Queenie. I'm honored, and I think it's a pleasure to be on your show, and I appreciate you and what you do for all.
You're welcome. Thank you. Tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, I was born and raised in New York City in the Bronx. Um, my parents came here from South Carolina, Sumter, Columbia State birth, and I was in sports for a little while, playing sports, and eventually I started writing films, and from films, they went into screenplays,
Mhm, mhm.
and from screenplays to books and poetry now. So
So, so what is your genre?
there've been two different ones. The first one was Final Hearing, which was about it was a city hall murder mystery about two city councilmen that were very popular, like a Bill and Hillary Clinton type of
Mhm.
relationship, and they both were murdered 6 months apart. So I would say that would be like political murder mystery, like murder
Okay.
mystery drama. And
Mhm.
then the one I'm doing now is social justice spoken word, exposing politics.
Okay. Okay, you can talk about your books now.
Okay, like I said, this one is basically near and dear to me because I've always been very political from the time that I was a child. I mean, I
Mhm.
remember with my parents watching the 6:30 news with Walter Cronkite, Roger Mudd, and all these other people, and CNN. We would discuss this, which I think personally is a bad thing now that you don't really see. I'm assuming that it does still occur, but I think that more parents and kids should be watching the news together and getting
Mhm.
involved, explaining the political process and civil engagement because it's all about your future.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so from there, um, I got tired of making. I was doing films for a while, which I just did a last film based on this called "Exposing Politics," a collection of poetry experimental film, which has been about 10 film festivals so far. I'm waiting to hear back from another 10 or 12. So people like it. It's my poetry, but it's with archive footage, so it's very visual. And the book version basically allows people to have a nice read to work or on the Amtrak or on the Greyhound with the same poignant meditation of the troubling state of American politics. And there are also two plays that emanate from this called Diplomacy, the Art of Listening Before You Speak and Exposing Politics, a play of acts. And I take these plays and I bring them to kids because I always felt that kids need to be more informed. And I think that's part that the education system has dropped the ball. So I'm working in some schools and I'm trying to break through to get my literary program involved in school systems because I use poetry and performance in an interactive way so
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
they can ask questions and see when I perform in 10 different characters. So it's very theatrical. Yeah, so you have Sidney Greenstreet, you got Peter Lorre, you got Vin Scully, you got South African presidents, you got Puerto Rican protesters. So the
Mhm.
kids really like it. I do Captain Barbosa from the Pirates of the Caribbean, and Maleva from the Werewolf, the Hungarian gypsy, and so it becomes very theatrical and entertaining. So that's where I'm at now, and that's always been a passion of mine because I thought information was one of the biggest assets that we have, or at least seeking it out, because we do have people in the world that always withhold information until the right time, just like what we're going through now with this virus. Um, this is the same situation that happened in 9/11. The same thing where we always get this information a year or two later saying, "Oh, the government knew about it and they did nothing." You know, so that's why I say a lot of times it's on us. I don't even know what Black History Month looks like. in public schools. I don't know if they really teach people. They think Martin Luther King is it. You know, and
Mhm.
there's so many people that have contributed so much, to intellectual property, inventions that have been
Mhm.
stolen from us, as well as our ideas and the way that we conduct our affairs. You know, so that's really near and dear to my heart. Is working with kids, and I have a young daughter too, 7 years old in California, and we talk all the time about positive affirmation. Nobody, nobody is better than you. We be playing, and I'm always whispering in her ear to keep her encouraged. Nobody is better than you. That you can be whatever you want to be. And like, I don't think we
Yes.
tell our kids that. We don't tell our kids.
Yep.
And so we always need positive reinforcement. I got that from my parents. Any family members, and I think that's it builds confidence, and that's very important if we're going to be successful.
Okay, let me ask you a question about you go into the schools and do your interaction with your different characters. At what age group is that, and have you thought about doing it like a video type thing?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I do have them. Like I said, the movie version I do have, and
Okay.
same
Okay.
thing. But the age limits are usually middle school and high school.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. When did you realize you wanted to be an author?
Um, I'd say maybe it was around 2011, I think, because I think I published Final Hearing in 2012. So I had been always writing like essays and things like that. So I'm an avid book reader. I'm always reading, mostly a lot of political autobiographies. Usually people that were in previous presidential administrations. I would like read their books. I don't know. I must have read about 9 books on Reagan's administration at that time. And at that point, I was like, that was the kind of things I like to talk about. Things that didn't happen close. They were global, and and they influenced everything in the world that we do. And so then I said, while I was doing Final Hearing, I was writing poetry, and then I tried to find a niche. I didn't want to be like any other poet, and I didn't want to just be reading the words. So then I started to perform them because I had some acting experience, and so that's what I do now. And so in schools, theaters, nursing homes.
Okay. How long does it usually take you to write a book?
mm, I'd say maybe about 2 or 3 years, because I have I have a few that I do. I write a few at the same time. Like right now, there's another book that's coming out next year called Ice House: How Incarceration Made Me a Better Man and the Philosophy of Making America Whole Again. And by what I mean by whole again is former Governor Jim McGreevey of New Jersey had that uh, made up that phrase. He said, "Make America whole again," meaning that all of the people will never be as great a country as we are, as long as we have all these deficits in society. The homelessness, the substance abuse, the unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
just the quality of life, gentrification, all these other things. If everybody worked together, we would get more done than being separated. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the trick that a lot of racists that are involved with President Trump. That's the thing. It's like I don't mind if I don't benefit from life as long as other black people don't. As long as there's not another Obama, and that's one of the most craziest. But only a racist could say something. I'm not going to drown so that somebody else drowns. That doesn't make sense. We both can swim if we help each other. But I mean, that's
Yes.
part of government. That's part of the government theory is to separate us and make us think that somebody's better than somebody else. He spent over 3 years talking about border walls that are never built, uh, immigration, which is still going on,
Mm-hmm.
and lying to white people to tell them that these people are going to take your job. And when I talk to them, about that. And I asked them, you know, like, what's your job position? What's your title? And then who's under you, immediately under you? And none of them ever told me that it was a Mexican. You know, so I was like, so that was the lie. You're threatened by somebody possibly in your own race for your job. You know,
Yeah.
but the ignorance, you know, that these races have, they believe that that there's going to be an invasion of Mexicans and South Americans to take their jobs. People that literally are still illegal. People that don't have ID. So how could they actually work for a corporation? How could they really work for a company unless they're working off the books? So how could they be threatening you?
Mhm.
But see, that's how they constantly teach it to you. They always keep one side to be fearful of the other side. See, you see them over there. Do you want them to take your job, take your home, take your life? Well, you have to stop them. And these people have no way of taking anything from you. They just basically trying to survive. And on top of that, um, they're the same people that you kick out are the same people you hire to do all your landscaping. All those mansions, all those big houses. That's not us doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird. Or how many times did we see like Supreme Court nominees, and all of a sudden they got thrown out because they didn't pay a nanny tax, or they or they didn't take care of their workers. And it's always them that they do that to. You know what I mean? And it's terrible. So you you they're on your staff. They're the ones that's upkeeping your property, but at the same time you're trying to throw them out. So I really it's puzzling.
Mhm.
Intent
Mhm.
behind that because they're needed in society. They're needed. You know what I mean? As well as any other race.
Mhm.
But I guess as Gil Scott Heron once said, I guess Mexicans are the new niggas. You know.
Yeah.
That's just, it's just like we just gonna put it on them now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because we always need somebody to hate, somebody to villainize. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So from that, I started, putting this book together, and there'll be also a follow up book as well.
Mm.
And this took about 2 years or so.
Wow. What is your work schedule like when you are writing?
It's sporadic because like a lot of times what I do is I use a note. I use the notes app in my phone a lot of times.
Mhm.
I don't
Mhm.
usually sit in front of a laptop. I usually write the notes and I write the dialogue out where I'm traveling or wherever I'm at. And how I get the ideas from people. So like I never listen to music. I'm always listening to people, and I'm
Mhm.
always looking at people, and that's where I get a lot of the characterizations. If they're left-handed, right-handed, if they're missing an arm, if they're diabetic or whatever, all those things that I need to make the story proper. I get it from regular people, so I'm very observant of that, and it was encouraging when I went to see Walter Mosley talk about his new book, and we had similar the same idea about writer's block. And basically, I just walk away. I walk away and I write about something else. Or I talk, or just leave it alone.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
don't, I don't have a technique to fight through it. I don't fight through it. It'll just come to me, and then that's when I pick up my writing. You know, so it could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be a month. You know, and then usually I just like now I'm working on something spoken word where I imitate Lieutenant Columbo. So so I'm almost finished with that.
Okay.
And another one called Smokescreen. So these are going to be on a new book, but I'm going to start performing them soon. And usually that's what I do is I rehearse a lot at the house, and then I take it out in front of people. I usually don't let people hear it before I do it live. I don't
Mhm.
like a lot of family to hear it. Not that they don't know, but sometimes people just are not honest a lot of times, or they don't understand. But I take it in front of
Yeah.
an audience, I really know, because I have some friends they love to do that. They like to let me hear things. I said, no, you shouldn't let anyone hear it that's not paying to see you,
Mhm.
because that's the true audience. You know what I'm saying? Not somebody that you just know. Because sometimes people are just very polite, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't get to the essence of your writing until it's out there. You know what I mean?
Mhm. What do you do when you're not writing?
Oh, I spent a lot of time with my girlfriend of 8 years until the city got shut down. I go to a lot of plays. I just weird. I just went to see the Soldiers play for the second time, and that was the last day it was there. It was supposed to be there 2 more weeks, but they shut it down. So that was just on the 11th, March 11th. So I usually go to a lot of plays or sporting events. I go to a lot of panel discussions and author talks. Usually author talks based on criminal justice or social justice. So I go to Fordham Law School a lot, and I also go to the Brennan School, a Brennan Center of Justice, which is part of NYU.
Okay.
So a lot of guys that were like journalists or they're prosecutors, they might write a book, and so they'll have a panel discussion. I take a lot of that information, and then because I have this book Ice House that I'm finishing up, so all that stuff is relevant to what I'm doing now. So those are the things. So I'll do plays, I do sports. Oh, and I love to cook, and I'm pretty good at it. So because I had some cholesterol issues, so I don't like to eat a lot of in a lot of restaurants if I don't have to or fast food place. I like to know how much sodium and sugar is in my food. So I learned many years ago to learn how to cook.
Okay.
So
What do you think makes a good story?
first and foremost, dialogue, the conversation between people. I think I value that a lot more than being descriptive. I like description, but I don't like description where it actually like slows down the pace of the book because
Okay.
you're describing the paint that's dripping on the wall and this kind of thing. And for me, I like dialogue because that's where people really pick up on it and say, "Well, that sounds like my aunt. Oh, that sounds like so and so." Or they sounded so believable, and so that's where I get all my inspiration from.
How are your characters inspired?
Usually they're people that I kind of like admire. So if I admired them or I wanted to touch on a certain situation, then that will inspire the character. I have one where I play like an African president, but it's basically when do you know? The name of the title is when do you know when you're not qualified to lead? It's like in the Hague in the war court. Kind of like it's like based on Charles Thomas. Charles Thomas. He used to be the Liberian president of Liberia, and during that whole Blood Diamonds thing, when people were getting their arms amputated, and so at that point he tells you how, when do you know you're not fit to lead is when you're basically here in this court, and he explains how he allowed his influence to be manipulated by the people around him, and greed and bribery, and corporate bribery as well.
What's the best way to market your books?
For me, it's mostly festivals. I do more in festivals where after I perform, people really, it really gets to them. So then, because just reading the book, as I've been told by some other people, and then seeing me, sometimes it throws people off a little. I mean, they're pleasantly surprised because it doesn't say in here what that I'm performing as Jimmy Kang. It doesn't say that. So a lot of times, so that's the next thing I have to do. Some people told me just recently. They said, "Where's your audio book?" And I said, that because the audio book is right. That's right in line with my performance. So that's been coming out very soon.
Okay. Do you read book reviews, and how do you deal with bad or good ones?
I haven't had any bad. I don't have as many as I want because a lot of people forget after they buy the book to do that. But I had on a movie because I also used to make jazz documentaries, and I made one on Billy Bang, a jazz violinist, and another one on Michael Carvin. The one on with Billy Bang on Amazon, I got somebody not it wasn't negative, but he didn't understand why I was using certain stock music instead of actual jazz, but it was only because I couldn't get the permissions that I wanted from the record company, you know. But that was the only thing that I can hear that people have said. Everybody really enjoys the writing. See, my first book, Final Hearing, was really like an adventure, you know, because not only from there, I mean, you're all over the place. I mean, we're in the Cayman Islands, we're in Wembley Stadium in London, we're in Minnesota, stealing a muscle relaxing drug from a hospital. I mean, it was like all kind of, you know, adventurous things that these two brothers were going through. So, and that's what I believe a good movie or a good story should take you somewhere. That's why I always loved like those James Bond films, or anything that took me out of the United States, you know, and took me around. And it's pure adventure because you go everywhere, you meet all kind of fascinating characters, all in the context of this, you know, the story.
Okay. Do you have family support as an author?
Oh yes, absolutely. My sister has always been there, my girlfriend, and my nephew. My mom and dad, they passed away. So I don't have many family here in New York anymore, just a cousin. My family in South Carolina, Atlanta, San Antonio, that's it. One cousin, I have one cousin here, so I don't have a lot of support here anymore. But I have support from other people as well.
Yes, yes. What is your motivation to write?
To teach people, to learn, to be fired up, and to not be complicit, and to accept what the government has laid out for us, to fight for your rights, and to stand up and be counted and represented. I want to be at the forefront of doing it.
What do you enjoy and or hate about the writing process?
The fact that I can't do it immediately, like submit. If I want it that fast, But you know something is interesting. It is a journey. You know, it is a journey, and you learn a lot about yourself and your ability to, you know, craft a great story. And what do you use, you know, to put this together? You know, where do you grab all of the things that will make this book great? And that could come from different things. It could be news clippings. It could be things that I saw in some movie, you know, that I feel in my mind has some degree of realism to it, and then I embellish it and then make it very interesting to the reader.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Performing more live, my plays, and having a consistent foothold in the school system, and hopefully across the country.
Okay. And where can readers find you?
They can find me at my website, which is Malcolm, MALCOLM, entertainment, one word, .com, or Instagram at Oscar Sanders 2202, Twitter at Oscar Sanders, and Facebook. All those books that I have, they have pages as well. So, you know, go ahead. Oh, and on my website also they can sign up, you know, for updates as well.
Oh, okay, okay.
And also go to YouTube, Malcolm Entertainment, and you can see all those videos that I'm talking about that based on the film.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
I just hope everybody stays safe. I hope that everybody gets something from this. I hope that the person said, "Hey, I didn't know about Oscar Sanders, but gosh darn it, I know about him now." And
Yes.
I'm going to follow him, and I like what he's doing, and I'm going to share it with other people. And also, if there are any school people that have the power to get my literary program going, or can invite me to come on out, they can do that. I travel all the time. I've been as far as Middle Tennessee State, you know, Murfreesboro. So I'll go wherever, you know, people are willing to listen and enjoy. And especially our people, because we really need the education.
Well, thank you for coming in today.
Absolutely, Queenie. It's my pleasure.
All right.
And hopefully, when that next book, you'll have me again about a year or so.
Yes, yes. Well, y'all heard it from him. Sanders, excuse me. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
All right.